Coming at you from the OLR podcast studio.
It's really more of a basement.
Coming to you from the OLR basement studio.
But it's still a podcast.
Coming to you from the podcast basement studio.
Yeah, but you still need to say OLR.
Coming to you from the OLR podcast basement studio.
Oh, that's way too many words.
Coming at you.
That's not enough. You still need to say OLR.
Let's just start. It's OLR. Welcome to the One Lane Road podcast with Lucas and DK. I'm Lucas.
And I'm DK, as always. And tonight
we have a special guest. Somebody huge people have been trying to guess for a few weeks now.
Been teasing this one for about a month. And so we got WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts. You guys grew up in the 80s, 90s watching pro wrestling. Jake Roberts is about as big as it gets. He was, he's probably regarded as top 15, 20 personalities, maybe even better than that, top 10 of actual characters, as we were talking about the other night, of actual characters. And everybody remembers Jake and his snakes being carried to the ring. So, very good interview, guys, coming up. The relevance of this with us is that Jake is doing his Tales from the Pit spoken word tour, that he's got 3 dates coming up in Tennessee starting this Friday, and we're getting the show out a little early to you guys. This will be out on Wednesday night as we record here, so you got 3 chances to see Jake here in Tennessee. Closest one being in Nashville on Sunday. So if you're a big Jake Snake Robert fan or pro wrestling in general, I would imagine that after we've talked to him here, that he's going to have some great stories.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Listen, he can still spit a promo for sure. Not too far away, Chattanooga too on the 4th. He's going to be at JJ's Bohemia in Chattanooga. So. That's really not much further than Nashville, depending on which way you go nowadays. So it's catch him in Chattanooga on the 4th, Springwater Supper Club in Nashville on the 6th, and High Tone in Memphis on the 7th. So he's doing a lot of driving here in the next few days.
That's right. So we won't waste any more time. We'll get into it with Jake right after this. All right. Well, tonight we're joined by WWE Hall of Famer and legend of the world of professional wrestling, Jake the Snake Roberts. How are you tonight?
Doing great, man.
Of course, sad news out of the world of pro wrestling today with the death of Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Really tough, man. Knew Gene since the early 80s, and just too many guys are gone, man, and it doesn't get any worse. Just each time. It's just shocking and horrible, and you try to remember the best about him, and it still leaves an empty hole, man, and I just wish the best for his family and for all the fans that loved him. He gave us a hell of a show, man.
No one quite like him in the business. His career spanned as long as it did. I was lucky enough to meet him with a friend of mine at the Superstars of Wrestling. My friend Chad, he does the Heroes and Legends booth. I think that he's interacted with you at some shows over the years. And so I worked with him and was able to run into Gene for 30 seconds there back in Rome, Georgia. So I know just a big part, and everybody was really showing their love for Gene today all over the internet. So
I imagine, rightfully so.
So the reason we got you on tonight, we don't know how long we got you, but we like to talk a little about your career later on. But the reason we got you here today is we're located here right in the heart of Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, really, and you've got 3 shows coming up. Tales from the Pit, 13 dates in January, and like I said, 3 of those are in Tennessee, starting Friday night in Chattanooga at JJ Bohemia's, and Sunday at the Springwater Supper Club in Nashville, and the following day at High Tone in Memphis. So, kind of what got you into the spoken word tours, and what can fans expect from those shows?
Well, what got me into it is I went and seen Mick Foley and seen his show, and afterwards I thought, my God, I know I'm funnier than that, so what the hell? And I knew that I had a lot more stories than Mick. I mean, I was around longer than Mick, and a lot more colorful than Mick, and a lot edgier than Mick, if you will. When I say edgy, you know what I'm talking about, doing the wild side and the crazy stuff. Mick was smarter than me. He would keep it down in the middle of the road and kind of boring and whatever. But he did his stupid stuff in the ring. I did my stupid stuff everywhere else. So that's the reason I can talk about Tales from the Road, because I was on the road for a long time, man, and I was around a lot of great characters, old and new, and some of the crazy stuff that happens with wrestlers and in the ring, out of the ring, or in a strip joint, or with a steak somewhere in a bathroom. Who knows what's going to happen next?
Man,
the fans are going to get to hear, basically, they're going to get to hear all the answers to the stories they were afraid to ask Jake the Snake Roberts. Because at the end of the show, I do a Q&A, and I open it up for anything and everything, man. So the only thing I ask is don't bring anybody under the age of 18 in there, because I don't want to be responsible for twisting some poor kid's mind up to the point of no return. And I promise you, there's going to be some 30 and 40-year-olds walk out there shaking their head going, my God, what did I just hear? Because these are not for the faint of heart. Some of them are very colorful. Some of them are very mean. Wrestlers' ideas of funny is if somebody bleeds profusely, or if they're scarred emotionally for life, then it has to be funny. That's just the way wrestlers are.
Yeah.
There's nothing kind about us, and we got pretty wild and pretty crazy and pretty stupid sometimes, and I just bring all that out, man, and I'll let it go. I don't have a set group of stories I tell. I just go out there and I feel the crowd out kind of the way I did in the ring. I just feel it out and I go with it. And I promise you, one hell of a ride, something you'll never, ever forget, even though you may pray to forget it, because you may be scarred for a while. And I'm sure the bedwetting will stop after a month or so, but you'll be all right. And it's a great time. And I encourage the fans to get there early, because I do like to do a meet and greet before the show, and sometimes after the show, depending on my mood. And, sign some things, take some photos with some fans, and because I really do appreciate the fans. Without the fans, there is no wrestling. And one thing I've learned over my time in the ring is that, the fans love us more than we love ourselves, and that's a fact. Scott Hall and I were talking about that. The fans never gave up on us, even after we'd given up on ourselves.
Right.
And, we did some rough and rugged things and some foolish things. And, I fought addiction for years, and I still performed, though. And like Scott said, he said, we never had a problem in the ring. It was after the match was over the trouble started, and that's the truth. We did well in the ring, but the real world was just too much for us.
Well, 300 days a year in a car traveling somewhere, it's got to be hell anyway.
Yeah, at least 300.
Yeah.
If you're working for Bill Watch, it's about 400 days a year. Because he screwed you for 30 or 40 more. I have to Bill Watch for you, though.
We didn't tell a lot of people. We didn't formally announce it, because, I know how these things can happen, and I just want to make sure we had you locked down before we put it on any of our social media. But, our closest friends we reached out to, and it was just an influx of questions and everything. And I was like, man, we can't ask all these, but, kind of.
Yeah, I got you.
Kind of the high.
Go ahead, run with them.
Yeah. We, I guess just, you were so many memorable angles, your first run from WWE, 86 to 92. And, I mean, I'll ask you overall, looking back now, 30, 35 years later, whatever, what's your favorite one?
Oh, too many of them, man.
Too many, yeah.
I was so fortunate to wrestle some of the greatest of the great, even before I got to the WWF. And
Mid-South.
My feud with Ronnie Garvin there at Georgia Championship Wrestling was one of my favorite feuds. And I mean, the Steamboat thing was wonderful. Andre was great. Rick Rude was scary. Because you never knew when he was going to blow up. But he was a rugged individual that had a very short fuse, and you never knew quite what to expect. And then you go to Macho Man, and damn, there was no fuse there. It was on fire all the time. So there were some great ones, man, and I enjoyed each and every one of them, whether it was Bad News Brown or Earthquake or DiBiase, it didn't matter, man. Marcel, they were all wonderful feuds, man. And we worked it to the edge, and we went over the edge sometimes, but we always reeled it back in and did a damn good job.
Yeah.
I'd challenge anybody to come up with a record like I came up with in the WWE. Every feud that I was in, it made a lot of money. And even the ones I didn't like doing, so there you go.
Of course, I grew up a fan. I grew up a fan like, so many people my age. I'm 35, so I grew up with Jake the Snake and all these guys. And so I didn't have to do a lot of research for this interview is what I'm saying. I remembered them from childhood.
Okay.
I mean, I've got it formatted, but it'll make...
What you're telling me is that your pants are wet right now, so, okay, go ahead.
Oh, he's got a pup camp going on
I've
right
had
now,
a little bit of a cold, so I don't know that it's working too good tonight. But,
a little grippy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
I'm not fangirling you, but I'm just telling you, I know your career, so...
You're right on the edge, buddy. You're right on the edge. Come on, be honest.
Hey, I will tell you this. I've had more women come up to me and guess who we were going to have on than I have guys. I've had girls come up to me that's, our age, 35 in that area, that come up to me and say, is it Jake the Snake? Tell me it's Jake the Snake. Is it going to be Jake the Snake? And I say, hell, I can't tell you. But, man, I've had probably 5 or 7 girls come up to me and just guess that it was Jake the Snake. Yeah.
Still got it.
Well,
yeah, I got it.
They were right, man.
Yeah.
What about one?
That's what happens. That's what happens when you go out and do your job great. When
Right.
when you honor the job that you're doing, and you don't go out there and do stupid crap. The easiest thing in the world is to destroy your connection with the fans, and you do that by doing stupid stuff in the ring that makes no damn. Like hitting somebody with a sledgehammer. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
My God, if I hit you with a sledgehammer and you get up, brother, I'm leaving town. So don't do stupid stuff that destroys your accountability. And I never did that. I went out and did serious interviews that struck the hearts of many and scared the hell out of some. The smart ones, and the dumb ones just hung around waiting for me to do something to them, and I usually came through with that. But, the Snake was, that was out there for entertainment purposes, man. But, there was nothing fun about dealing with that Snake, and
holy
fans,
shit, dude.
that come to the shows, they're gonna hear a lot about that damn Snake and some of the crazy stuff that happened with it. Whether it be in a strip joint or in the dressing room, it made appearances everywhere.
I am terrified of snakes and always have been. And I remember,
So am I.
I remember being a little kid and seeing you come out with that damn snake, and I mean just shitting my pants at the house.
Well, believe me, I was the same way, man. And it was pretty crazy because I hated damn snakes. I'm terrified of the damn things, and yet here I am carrying one to the ring.
Do you still have one?
Hell no.
Good.
I never did own one. I
Good
can't
deal.
stand them damn things.
Oof.
All the ones you were talking about, all the feuds, there's one that didn't happen, and I've seen you joke around about it. The program with Hulk Hogan that never happened. They screwed you out of a lot of money there, didn't they?
Yeah. Sure as hell did, brother. That's, the fans caused that, but I get it, They did, man. The fans were chanting DDT, DDT. The only 2 times we were in the ring together, they were cheering for me to kick his butt, man. And, Vince McMahon told me right up front, said, that's not going to happen. It's over.
You gotta have.
I'm like, what? And he's like,
You got to have one heel in there, huh?
yeah, could not have it. Could not have it, And it cost a lot of money. And then my job became getting the guys ready to wrestle Hogan. If we were in Philadelphia, Hogan would be in New York City. And so in Philadelphia, I would wrestle. And the next time they were in Philadelphia, Earthquake would be wrestling Hogan. So my job was to make them look good and get them ready for Hogan. So I guarantee you they enjoyed the match with me more than they did one with Hogan.
You don't have to talk about all this stuff. I know you're going to talk about it in your shows. I don't want to give too much away for fans that'll go, but do you think a lot of people talk about the guitar shot that Honky Tonk gave you that was supposed to be gimmicked and wasn't, and that injured your neck? And do you think that's
nearly killed me?
Do you think that's where some of your prescription problems started happening?
Yeah, that's where it started. I mean, it was a necessity, but I'm not going to blame that on Honky other than the fact that he's a piece of crap. But, guy has done some horrible things to people, and, he even tried to buy my name. I have my name trademarked, and he knew the trademark was running out, and he tried to buy it.
Oh,
he was going to charge me to use my own damn name, and that's the type of scum he is, and
wow.
He got away with buying a couple of guys' names. The Patriot lost his name.
That's ridiculous.
Honky Tonk owns that, so and that's just ridiculous. That's so sad. That's so sick. But it also shows you the type of man he
that is
a piece of crap.
Yeah, I would say he's one of those that you don't really want to hang out with.
He's going to get in sooner or later, man. I'm not going to worry about him because I got a whole lot of things in life to think about than the honky tonk man. Oh my God.
Yeah. I just had to bring that question up for that reason, but
yeah, well, that's done. Let's don't talk about him anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't need any airtime.
Of course, most people remember. I think people our age, the King Cobra with Randy Savage was really stands out. I still remember being on vacation somewhere with my grandpa and it coming on, and my little cousins being terrified of that scene. But how freaked out was Randy about this?
He was pretty crazy about it. In fact, we talk about it during the show, and
okay,
because he made me let the snake bite me first.
Yeah,
in the back. Because he wasn't sure it been taken care of properly, and I might be trying to steal his Intercontinental Championship title. I'm like, what? You think I'm going to kill you to get that damn belt? Are you serious?
In a work situation.
He was serious. He laid it out perfectly and made it clear that that snake had to bite me first in the locker room over there. Was going to be a hell of a fight. And no holds barred, man, right there in the locker room before we ever got to the ring. So I let the damn cobra bite me, which wasn't a big deal because cobras don't have fangs, they have teeth. And, back in the day when I was drinking, I used to put that damn cobra on the bed next to me, and I'd put my hand out there because cobras are very slow and striky. They're not like a rattlesnake or a strike so fast you can't even see it. But they just kind of fall towards you, and I'd put my hand out and jerk it back, when the snake would try to strike me, and I'd pull it back, Of course, the phone would ring. I'd forget what I was doing, reach over, pick up, bite me. I'd yell and jerk it away from him or pull his mouth off of it, but it didn't hurt much, man. It's like a catfish's mouth. You know what those spiny teeth feel like? You just scratch you up and you'll bleed a little bit, but you'll be all right. But it is mind screwing to look down and see any animal chewing on you.
Yeah.
Whether it be a king cobra or a damn bullfrog. If a frog was chewing on your hands, you'd be kind of freaking out thinking about all the warts you were going to get, I guess. But it's pretty strange, bro.
So after you left there in '92, you did a short time in WCW, did some independence and all that stuff. Came back in '95 to '97, and you did you were preaching then. You were trying to turn your life around, right?
Well, not really preaching. I was just lending my story out, man, for people that wanted to get a little hope, And I'll tell you something. It's a real tough world to go out and go down that road because temptation's at every corner, man, and. If you're doing a good job getting the word out there, the old devil works twice as hard to get you off the road. And that's basically what happened to me, man. I couldn't deal with the pressure. I settled, and, I was going through a divorce at the time, and that took me even further down the road. And, I pretty much just crawled inside of the bottle or the pills or whatever. It wasn't so much pills for me as it was cocaine and alcohol, but, addiction is addiction, man. It doesn't matter if it's drugs or sex or food. It's not healthy. It's just not healthy, man. And so grateful that I'm past that now, that I don't have to work anymore or doing cocaine anymore. I have no desire at all. None. Absolutely none. In fact, when I'm in the airport and I'm walking through the airport and I go past a bar, just the smell of alcohol turns in my stomach. So I'm grateful to the powers above that gave me that. And, I just want to keep going as long as I can and enjoy the fans as long as I can. And go out and tell these stories and try to have a good time. And then, you know, at the end of the show, if there's somebody out there, man, who's serious and wants to sit down and talk about addiction or something, I'm there for them, man. And I'll stay as long as you need me to. I'll get you headed down the right road, man, because everybody deserves another chance in life, man. And life is to be treasured, not just chewed up and spit on the side, man. And, you know, maybe you have to get older to start appreciating it more, but I know I love life, and I love my grandkids, and they're giving me an opportunity to be a great grandfather, and I just dig the hell out of it, man. And I do appreciate the fans, because the fans never gave up on me, even after I gave up on myself.
Yeah, and we know everybody knows the story, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time, rehashing all the negative stuff because it's over. You know, we all, right. So I'm glad
we all got dirt to chew on, and I'll say this. At least I had balls enough to go out there and talk about it.
Absolutely.
And not many guys want to do that. They want to hide, and they don't want their kids to know they did this or did that. And that's what happens to a lot of kids is, mom, they never farted in church or anything, and the kid winds up doing that one time, and he feels like, well, I'm doomed to hell, because I've done this, Well, that God that we have, man, he's not like that. He's a vengeful God, man, and thank goodness for that, man. You just gotta, keep trying, never give up. And that's the story I put out there, man. Never give up, man. Nobody's perfect. If we did, we wouldn't have had Christ on the cross, So
Kevin Nash said in his WWE Hall of Fame speech that there was two real things about professional wrestling. Him and Ric Flair decided the first time you win your first world title, and going into the Hall of Fame. So, two-part question.
Yeah.
Did you care that you never held any titles in the WWE, and what did it mean to actually go in the Hall of Fame, clean and sober, DDP inducting you, and all your family, your kids, grandkids there, grandson on stage with you?
Well, it was certainly a moment I thought would never happen, as far as me going in the Hall of Fame, because, a drunk or a drug addict gets pretty angry, and when the world starts crashing in on him, and you start saying things that aren't true. You lash out at everybody on the planet, including Vince McMahon and the WWE. I lashed out on everybody, angry at myself, angry at them, angry at everything. And I thought I burnt that bridge pretty solid, and I didn't think there was much of a chance of me going in. And then when this call did come, it just floored me. And I didn't really realize the impact it would have on me until I was up there on that stage and looking out at my family, and taking my grandson up there was a moment that hopefully he will treasure the rest of his life, and because that's who I look up to is my grandkids, man.
That's what it's all about.
And as far as having a title, man, the reason they have titles is to make someone a star.
Right.
That's the reason they have titles. Jake Roberts never needed a title to become a star. I was already there. I didn't need that to confirm in my mind that I was the best or the very best. I've only got, back then they only had a couple of titles. They didn't have 26 of them like they do now. But, it just didn't, I had to carry a 100-pound snake around and all my luggage and all my wrestling gear and my clothes when we go on those 3-month tours. And I didn't really need anything else to carry around, to tell you the damn truth. And as far as having a title, man, maybe that means something to somebody, but I'm not like a couple of guys that I shouldn't even say, well, I'm not like Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels. I don't think that you actually win those. Okay, they did, but that's the reason they didn't want to lose them here or lose them there, because they thought they actually won them somewhere. And as far as Flair bragging that he's won the title 16 times, doesn't that mean you've lost it 17 times?
Yeah, technically.
I'm just saying, isn't that right?
Yeah.
So that means 17 different guys were good enough to beat your dumb ass. So I just don't really think that's something to crow about myself, and I wish the best to Flair and his sobriety. I'm happy that he hasn't messed up too much, and I just wish the best for everybody, man. And
Yep.
I just want the whole world to get a little bit happier, man, if we could, man, because life's too short, really.
Yeah.
I've heard Bruce Pritchard actually say that sentiment about you several times on his podcast, that you were the one guy that didn't need a title. So.
No, I never did, man. I stole the show anyway,
Yeah.
Well, it used to kill me, man, because, I wasn't on many shows with Hogan because running 3 towns back at the time, and they needed somebody to carry the other town. So they'd have me carry one, they'd have Hogan carry one. Well, the shows that we were on there together, guess who went on last? It wasn't Hogan.
He left early. It
was me. Right. He went on before intermission because I could carry it, because I could get the job done. And to me, that was the greatest compliment right there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to put your world champion out there because this guy with the snake makes him look bad. So, that's pretty good for me, I think.
Kind of, not ironic, how yours and Scott Hall's careers have kind of been lumped together, how you got cleaned together. But, one thing about it, you're both regarded as one of the best minds in the business.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
You always hear that.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. And it aggravates the hell out of me sometimes, but I understand why, why I'm not writing television for somebody, because they don't want anybody around them smarter than they are.
Mm-hmm.
And my problem is I voice my thoughts. If I think you're a dumb son of a bitch, I'll tell you you're a dumb son of a bitch.
Boy, people don't like that,
no, they don't, man. Especially when they get more zeros on their contract.
Yeah.
Which doesn't do my feelings any good either, to
Or
realize somebody's making twice as much as I am, and they don't know half as much as I do. It's like, what the hell's going on, And it used to be kind of funny back in the day. We'd say, you don't want to learn too much, because if you get really good at what you do, they'll use you to make guys that don't know what they're doing look good.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they did. They took all the great stars and the great talents and made them job boys, if you will, for the guys that couldn't tie boots. Because that's how good we were. They always make the joke of I could wrestle a broomstick. Well, I've wrestled a broomstick a couple of times and had pretty good matches with them. And actually, those broomsticks were better workers than a couple of guys I was in the ring with. So there you go. But guys, I've enjoyed this, but I'm going to have to get down the road, man. And
all right.
Maybe we can do this again sometime. If you don't mind, I'll just give you a shout out sometime. We'll do it again.
Yeah, sounds great, Jake. We really appreciate your
time.
All
right, man. Well, hopefully you guys make it out to the show. Don't be afraid. I won't talk about you.
Hey,
all right.
We can take it.
Thank you, sir. Have a good
man.
show.
Thank you, guys.
All right, appreciate you.
Have a good night.
You too.
That was Jake the Snake Roberts, people.
Well, I tell you what. One thing about it, he roasted me.
Yeah, he did.
That's how bad I'm getting roasted here.
Hey, let me tell you what, man. I watched him on Rogan, and he killed Rogan's producer over and over and over again, man.
For being a fan?
No, not for being a fan. Just in general, he just roasted him. I can't even remember. He had like something a little sore, and he apparently spoke about it too. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Man. Well, I mean, it's funny and ironic because of how much crap people give me
right.
on here, but. I mean, if you were, like I said, our age, you grew up with Jake the Snake, and
yeah.
I don't know. I just remember the wrestling business so much from a kid. I just watched it nonstop.
Yeah.
So it's easy to remember.
Right.
But it's funny as hell.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to not only have to hear shit from Jake the Snake Roberts, I'm gonna have to hear it back from all of our people that listen to this.
Oh, for sure. As much crap as people give you about fangirling, he called you a fangirl.
And it's not. I put that in. I actually said fangirl, and he said I was close. Yeah. And I don't really, but it's whatever. It's whatever. People. No, but nice for Jake. Like I said, we had a lot of questions for him, and really got to ask a lot of them. Some high points on a lot of them because I knew, he's a busy man. So
yeah. And just sounds so good. For where he was at to where he is now. He just, he sounds good. His stories are fantastic. He's quick. Man, is he quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't just feeling him full of it. I mean, you talk to you go watch any wrestling, anything, shoot interview or anything. If you interview 10 people and somebody says who's the best mind in the business, meaning who has the best ideas, who can come up with gimmicks, and I really wanted to ask him for Don, who he gave ideas to or who he gave gimmicks to throughout the years that maybe we don't know or give credit for, but he's always in that category. Scott Hall's always in that category, and there's a handful of others, but those two are generally, and especially Jake. Jake's, like I said, no, look it up. Everybody says Jake the Snake Roberts is when he's clean and when. So I guarantee.
And he sounds like he's in such a good place right now too. With he's preaching love and acceptance and stuff. But he still, he still got that edgy nature to him too. So that's that's
like
life.
That.
Yeah, I do too. It's
because you could go a complete other direction with that, and you could preach and do that. But he's still funny as hell and raunchy and all that stuff. So I really appreciate it. But I just didn't want to go there because everybody's heard his childhood and everybody's heard all that. And you've seen the documentaries prior. He was featured on one documentary years ago that wasn't flattering to him. So I'm glad they come back around, done the resurrection of Jake the Snake on Netflix.
Yeah,
a whole different light, and shout out to DDP for.
That's what I was about to say. And DDP has been, he's been so integral in Jake the Snake's recovery. But DDP, not just in Jake the Snake, he's brought a lot of people back. So that's huge, and I'm glad he done it for Jake the Snake too.
And he changed Jake and Scott Hall, but there's so many pro wrestlers that's using that now. Chris Jericho, Goldust, they're in the best shape. Jericho's almost 50, and Goldust probably is, and they look great. Yeah, and there's so many other guys that use it, but you can see the influence of a Jake Roberts when you see a current guy like Randy Orton. It kind of has that slow, methodical. Jake never yelled. You don't have to go on camera and yell at people, and Jake would just calmly look at the camera and tell you what he was going to do, and it's so good. And a lot of that stuff from the late 80s, early 90s doesn't hold the test of time. You can go find a Jake Roberts promo and still it'd still be great.
He was talking about one where he just kind of mouthed to the camera, never said anything. He just mouthed to it, and then people would get up. It's at that point in time you had to get up and go to your television to turn it up and stuff. And he was saying that when they got up there, he went, "Yeah, I just made you get up. Go to the television." He said, I'm in control right now.
He said on Rogan?
Yeah.
I made it through part of Rogan. I hadn't finished it yet.
Yeah, so. It was really good.
I don't like to, sometimes I like to look at interviews that our guests have. Yeah. To avoid asking the same questions. Yeah. But with Jake, it's such a, a lot of the questions are going to be asked because there's so many high points. But
there wasn't a terrible lot of overlap. It was really, really good. There was stuff on there that I hadn't heard, but some of it I had, but it was really good. So
because Rogan goes off the damn deep end on stuff. Sometimes.
Rogan gets 3 hours deep in you sometimes. He'll turn you upside down. But anyway, that's going to make this one stand alone. We're not going to do our normal rhetoric around it. We're going to let this one stand alone around Jake the Snake. Try to get it out early.
And also follow him. Follow him at Jake Snake DDT on Twitter.
At Jake Snake DDT on Twitter. Folks, go out and check him out. The 4th, the 6th, and the 7th. Pick you a date. Go check him out. If you liked listening to us, again, we're the One Lane Road Podcast. I'm Lucas. That's DK. Where can they follow us at, DK?
Everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, at OLR Podcast, and Facebook is the One Lane Road Podcast page, and just go like it. And we're all over the place, man. We're sports, music.
Yeah, leave us a rating wherever you listen to us at. Give us a thumbs up, whatever you can do for us. We appreciate it. And if you're new, hang out and listen to us again. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.